All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are about to unleash a second half of God knows what onto all our souls. This would have been a little bit more of a positive podcast probably before June. Then June happened, and there's just that little bit of in the mix, there's just a little bit of darkness in there. You can't just let your heart over, but it's all right. We're going to be fine. We're going to be good. We're going to chill because we got to believe it's presented by Coors Light. When you're juggling work, family, and the busyness of summer in general, it's easy to feel the pressure, but that doesn't mean we have to lose our chill, especially when our team is losing games in the same way every single time. But you know what? This is going to be a positive podcast when it's all said and done because Coors Light's there for us. The All-Stars are there for us that we got to watch on Tuesday night. And then we're going to have the kids growing up right in front of our eyes, maybe some trade deadline stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk to today on the podcast with our Coors Light. Me, KFC, Phil, Kyle is away this week. So when the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. And like I said, we just get our I'll be popping my Coors Light tonight for the David Wright show on SNY at 6:30 p.m. So New York, choose chill, choose Coors Light, proud partners of the New York Mets. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I don't like your tone again. I don't like your tone.
I'll tell you, I kind of lost myself in there for a minute, and I said, this is getting a little too dark. I was just trying to say,
bro, what are you talking about? Manaya's back and was dealing. We lost that game, but whatever. We got all the reinforcements coming. We're going to make a move to the deadline. The Phillies missed their chance when we sucked dick in June.
They should be up 10 games by now. What are they doing?
Honestly, no, but for real, I mean, if somebody goes 3-13 and has that bad of a month and you can't really establish yourself as the lead of the division, I think they're going to look back on that June and be like, let's say even if it's close down the stretch, Phillies fans are going to be like, oh my God, we shouldn't even be here right now. So I don't know. I've turned a new leaf, man. I'm just living the life as a new Mets fan who's just not freaking out all the time. We're good. Every time I say that, we lose 10 in a row.
Yeah. You wrote
we can't lose today. We can't lose today.
That's true. You wrote that to the chain. You're like, I got to stop being so positive on the podcast because it blows up in my face every. What do we lose the rest of the Baltimore series after that?
I'm just being real. I don't think this is a negative time.
So that right there shows actual change. When we did this podcast 5 years ago, almost 10 years ago at this point, there would be the winning streaks where we'd feel great. It's like when you have some sugar, you feel good, and then we would crash, and then we would cancel, and then we'd never want to watch this team again. I feel like we have had the gradual change. 24 changed our souls. This home run finally put the stamp on it, that run in October, and now it's just happy lads in front of me. I'm so happy to see you guys.
The thing is, the runners in scoring position is probably the most frustrating thing of this team, but when you also have 4 guys with almost 20 home runs and you get your run production in other ways, if they didn't hit home runs and didn't have the Fab Four, then that runners in scoring position would eat at my soul. The same way that we used to have a terrible bullpen and you're it's going to happen every single game. So there's no point in watching. The bullpen is you're going to get a Reed Garrett meltdown every now and then. Is it the good Braziban or bad Braziban? But overall, it gets the job done. The starting pitching can make you scratch your head, but it gets the job done. They don't seem to have a fatal flaw other than runners in scoring position, but they kind of make up for the runners in scoring position with the rest of the way that they hit. So there's nothing that makes me I don't want to watch tonight because I know the script as it's always been in the past.
Phil,
that's the difference between being this sucks or it's up and down. We'll be all right.
The one thing that with our script that you said, it does feel like every game it's starter comes out after giving up 2 runs in 5 innings. And
we have 2 hits in the 6 somehow.
No, that's what I mean. It's not perfect, but it's even the games where it's oh my God, we're getting shut out with 1 hit, and then we push a couple across in the 8th, and it's all right, they didn't die. All of it is, they have bad points, but none of it is every single time we're going to lose because of X.
It feels like a John McClane, it's Die Hard every single time. It's it's close. They're still doing good, but it's they're just not leaving themselves any real wiggle room for error along the way. Phil, how are you feeling going into the second half here?
I feel good. I trust that Stearns will get the help he needs. the fact that like we have like basically 4 close to auto outs in the lineup. I do think we're gonna get a bat or two. I do think they're gonna get a starter. I don't know if it's gonna be big name guy or Zach Gallen.
I thought I saw that they weren't in the market for starting pitchers.
That's a fake report. That's the same guy that said like Alonso was going to the Jays. So don't worry about that.
Got it. I was gonna say like they have to be. I don't think it's gonna be a bombshell, but it's got to be in the market for.
They're gonna be in the market for everything. It may just not be the big names.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it should be.
There may not even be big names this deadline. You start looking around like who are the sellers.
The only thing I would be really down for is if there's almost like a surprise big name. Like we know who's out there, but what if? I always throw out Skeens as a joke, but like if there's somebody like that where all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know he was available.
Exactly.
Big move. I would be cool with that. But the names that I do think are available, I don't think anybody's worth the cost, the potential money. Yeah, it just and I hate to be this way because this is so Wilponian, but when you are adding Senga and
you're using the line.
Yes.
But it's true. It's just like if you were to ask me what do we need, I would say let's focus on the other shit because we are getting more starting, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, but like, but it just shouldn't be as much of a focus when you're adding players in other ways. So, I mean, they'll probably get hurt or stink. We'll need like 6 more pitchers. So he's probably just amass as many arms as you possibly can. But I don't think about a week ago, I was like, goodbye, Ronnie, goodbye, Beatty, goodbye, Vientos. One, if not more, you were going. I don't think they're keeping almost all the names that we really know.
I think getting a bat's more important than an arm at this point, just because like Stearns knows he can just find any random pitcher and get like a good like 6 innings out of him.
It's true. It is true.
And I like the runners in scoring position thing does feel like something that either is just going to work itself out or maybe that bat, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's like you can fix a bullpen by throwing some arms at it. If you get a starter and he doesn't get hurt, he can change your rotation. The runners in scoring position, especially like with some of the bats we
it's
have
just
there.
fluky. That's what it is.
Honestly, I don't want to say like small sample size because obviously we're deep into the season and it's an issue. But there's a lot of times where I'm like, well, Soto's up with the bases loaded and I can't believe he struck out, but he did. And every time I'm like, this is going to be the time he doesn't strike out. And like he keeps doing it. But I think eventually that's just going to stop, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't help, like you said, that there's, you know, if you have runners in scoring position, but the bottom 4 are up, you ain't going to drive in. It's like, it's one thing the top of the order fails because then it feels like we should have driven somebody in there. If all those guys get on base for the bottom half, we ain't getting them in. That's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
We are 14th in the league in runs right now, which, you know, isn't great. That's right in the middle. By the way, the Phillies are 1 above us.
I was going to say.
The pitching has carried them.
Yeah, and when you're in the middle of the pack with this bat, when you're last in runners in scoring position, it I don't know. It almost it gives me hope in a way because I'm like, some of those balls start to find holes and miss gloves. Like, I think we're good then, you know?
And it's not like going to the conference finals, but like it's kind of like firing Tibbs thing. You want to fire the hitting coach, and whether or not it makes any difference, I don't know. But it's like your offense is all right, other than the runners in scoring position. Do you really want to make that change, and then potentially everything gets fucked up, and then guys, I don't even want to delve into. I don't want to hear Eric Chavez's name the rest of the season.
Yeah, I know. We're over that. He's obviously not going anywhere. If he didn't get fired during June, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, July's it's not happening.
I just like the at bats with runners in scoring position. They don't. I don't know. It does seem fluky to me. Like it does seem like something that will eventually work itself. Like there's no way that if Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, and Pete are up with runners in scoring position that they're like afraid and they're doing something different. I think it's just like sometimes there are men on, sometimes there are not men on. Sometimes you get a hit, sometimes you don't, and it has not lined up at all.
Yeah. By the way, you said like July new change. Look at Phil right now. I think this is the least stressed we'll see Phil the rest of the year, unless we have like a magical 2015, September and August. Because like Phil looks pretty like he sometimes he's wearing his emotions. He feels good, right? He's smiling right now. He's smiling.
I mean, yeah, there's been no baseball this week. I mean, Monday was a home run.
I will say this. Like, I wanted to ask you this because you're a fucking freak. I love the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Even I was like, I wish we needed the All-Star break, but then we started to cook a little bit, and I was like, maybe we should keep the momentum going. Personally, getting a break, not having to watch, not having to stress. Do you like that? Even though there's like a week.
Yeah, you need a break. Like it's. Like I
Even
played
sickos need
Xbox
a
last
break.
night for like 5 hours. I was like, oh, I needed this.
This is the thing. This day though, the Thursday, this is when it's like, all right, this is too much. They're smart though, because then you're like fiending it by the end of the night, and then tomorrow night it's like it's back, and then seventh inning as fucking Brazoban's coming in, and I don't know where the pitch is going. I'm gonna be like, man, I really missed that All-Star break. Which, speaking of the All-Star break, we talked about it. So we said, how we felt about the Derby beforehand, how we felt about the All-Star game going in. I did monitor AJ for this entire thing. My 7-year-old son, becoming a huge baseball fan. Every first thing he says when he wakes up, did the Mets win last night? I've now taught him how to do what's it called? Fast Cast. It gives you like 10 minutes of everything from the night before of every single game. So you can
what's
watch.
that? What's that called?
It's called Fast Cast. It's on the MLB app, and it's just a 10-minute highlight reel of everything that happened across the league. Mostly home runs, right?
AKA Sports Center.
Yes, what it was to us when we were
awesome.
kids. Yeah, but no commercials. It's great. It's 10 minutes. And then you could also watch the Mets game in like 5 minutes, right? So I was like, all right, dude, you're becoming a baseball fan. Let's see how much you're into these things that we think are made for kids, right? Because we complained about the Derby and the All-Star game. We go, it's for kids. He made it one batter in the home run derby, and then he was like, all right, I'm done with this right now.
The home run derby is impossible to watch with the time format because it just makes you fucking dizzy because they keep showing like the home runs before they even land.
I don't know why they can't just like, I mean, now I guess you get really complicated, but like just pause the clock when the ball's in the air so everyone can like watch it, and then
just enforce the rule. It's like you cannot pitch until the ball's in the seats.
Yeah, it's just a better product, and or make it like I don't know. I can't. I didn't watch a single. Not only did I not tune in, I don't even think I watched the highlight. I don't know who won. I don't know what. I just realized. Wait, do I know who won? Hang on. I don't know who won. Holy shit! I don't even know who won.
He's an MVP candidate in the American League.
Who is it?
He's known for hitting home runs in the American League.
Big Dumper. I did know that.
Yes.
I did know that. Okay, I forgot about Dumper. Yes, because I saw there was some controversy, right? He won by like a tenth of a foot.
Yes.
Okay.
They coincidentally gave like the eighth of an inch to the guy leading the league in home runs.
I mean, how is that even? How do they? I've always wondered this because there are times I see balls that they're like, that was 420 feet. And I'm like, that kind of just got over the wall, and vice versa. Is that like a angle plus speed?
No, they just make it up.
Yeah.
It has to be made up.
They just
100%
made
up.
They legit just absolutely make that up. I don't know how they even could tell you it's within a foot, let alone within inches. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's right. All right. So I do remember that, but I don't think I saw anything other than the distance controversy. It's just maybe that's an old man thing. I don't know. Also, I was watching. We mentioned the ESPN Classic, the Willie Mays versus Mickey Mantle one that everyone's seen. I was watching on Twitter Darryl Strawberry when he won in like 1980, whatever, with 4 home runs. He had 4 home runs. Yeah. Because it was just like batting practice. And it was like you hit some out and you don't. Like back then, I'm sure that was a big deal. After living the life we've lived, how can you get excited about like batting practice home runs over and over and over again? It's just not a thing. It's like kind of like the dunk contest as well. Once you've seen every dunk and all the cool things are done, it's just like, yeah, this doesn't do it for me anymore. So I don't know. I think they should just keep upping the prize. That would, like, if you told me 10 million was on the line, I would, I'd watch to see. That's where that, those tenths of an inch probably matter. Where that guy was like, you just took $1 million out of your pocket. But that's the only thing that, like, the stakes are the only thing that they can really change for me to get me interested.
And he's 7, so he is still just learning some of the players and all this stuff. But he goes, Dad, is Aaron Judge in the home run derby? No. Is Shohei Ohtani in the home run derby? No.
Right.
Already Mets in it? No. And then he's like, okay. Like, Cal Raleigh. Don't know him. I was like, dude, let's watch O'Neal Cruz because I thought O'Neal Cruz was going to win. I wanted to watch him. So we watched it, and O'Neal Cruz put out a show, and he was like, I'm good. I'm out of here. And I'm like,
maybe, like, I wonder, try this. Show him Josh Hamilton's round and see if that, like, see if just the sheer display of, 30 bombs in like 5 minutes. But I don't know. It's hard to entertain kids these days, by the way. Like anything, I put on movies and TV and stuff. Like, Shay will watch. I'm on this binge right now. We're watching all these 90s movies. We just finished Billy Madison. Unbelievable. A little inappropriate for my kids, but we fast forward a couple parts. But Shay will love it. Keegan will he's like, I'm gonna go rip somebody's head off on Roblox. That's awesome. So it's hard to please him.
And I think the ball knowers, like the 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, like the kids who are really like becoming diehards, they want to see O'Neal Cruz. They want to see Big Dumper. But like the 7-year-olds, they just know the big names for the most part, and then like their guys. So at that point, the All-Star game, however, he watched the intros, was like, why are they booing Alonso? Why are they booing the Mets? I was like, it's Atlanta. We boo them too if it was with us, booed the Phillies. And then as soon as that was over, iPad on, did not give a fuck.
So he is pageantry like his pops.
Yes, we are a pageantry family. Yes.
And then you know what is super ironic, contradictory, whatever you want to call it. Couldn't give a fuck about the home run derby. Swing off, most electric thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
Swing off was unbelievable. I'm not joking when I say this because I'm not too much of a baseball purist. Put it in real baseball. I said I would go as far to say that should be baseball. That should be the sport. Like just batting practice. Listen, pitching's not a thing anymore anyway. So we might as well just get rid of them, get batting practice guys who throw darts and just swing offs. The only problem with the swing off was that Pete didn't get to hit and it kind of fucked him over being like last. And I hate to say this because I don't like to ever give any of them any sort of props. Schwarbo is he is so fucking gangster. And I don't have a problem giving him props because I always wanted that guy. When the Cubs gave up on him, when the Red Sox gave up on him,
he's a free agent this winter. We can get him.
I would still take him. I would still take him now. I don't even care how old he is. I swear to God, I really would take him. That guy he might be like Julio Franco. He might play till he's 50 and just hit tanks because that's what that man does. The fact that those two teams who are contenders and could use him gave up on him, and he's second behind Aaron Judge for home runs in their careers right now. Mm-hmm. And he can bat leadoff. He can he does it all. He's such a good clubhouse dude. So I hate to root for a Philly, but that's a guy who I always said let's go and give him a big contract. He's worth it. I don't know how I guess his defense and whatever, but the fact that he kind of slipped through the cracks is crazy. And then going 3 for 3 is crazy. I know
there were bombs.
They were no doubters. There were no doubters. And I was impressed with everybody, to be honest, because it's when you see them hit 30 in the home run derby, they don't hit their first 3. And if they do, it's a big deal. Everyone's like, oh shit, he's coming in hot. Takes you a couple swings, whatever. So to go 3 for 3, man, that was so fucking gangster. And I like that they put Pete last because it's a vote of confidence, you're our closer. But it really robbed the MVP from him. Because if he had a 3-run home run and a home run in the swing off, I think it goes to him. Sucks that Diaz couldn't close it out because Pete, the MVP was sitting on his plate for however many innings after that home run. And he didn't.
Well, you saw they changed the rule to rob him basically. The voting was only supposed to be what happened in the 9-inning game. The rule was coincidentally removed from MLB's website after the game.
Yeah, I don't have I understand why they said that going in, but I also understand why they just ripped that the fuck up because especially the moment just happened. Schwarber, everyone's going nuts for him, and then you're going to be bring out this guy who hit a home run in the 4th inning. It's just not. But that they almost need to maybe going forward be there's the king of the swing and there's the MVP, and you both get a bat or whatever.
Imagine if they robbed him of a car, if they still did that. It's no, you can't get this. This is Schwarber.
By the way, you know what else needs to stay? The challenging pitches.
Yes.
2 seconds.
Yeah, that was great.
It took way shorter than any review process in all of sports. And the fact, when Diaz was no, points, the board goes up, bam, got you, you're out of here. Mm-hmm. That should absolutely be a part of the game.
Yeah, literally keep doing it until you're wrong. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. That should be the rule. You get unlimited. Or also, by the way, the fact that it was that quick. If you have to go to the headset and all that shit, I understand it's a problem. This is just proof positive, and my dad will be so happy about this. He's been talking about this for 30 years. Why can't they just do it with robots? They can. That ball was in real time. They knew whether it was a ball or strike. You can get rid of umpires now. We proved it on Monday night, whatever.
Yeah, I haven't paid too much attention to it. I know it's been in the minors, and I've seen a couple of the highlights, when it first was used. And I'm like, all right, like I could see it. And then when I saw how clean it is now after all the, work they've done, I'm like, this needs to be here tomorrow. It's gonna happen. Like we had a couple of really bad umpire games at the end of the first half, and it's like, man, I can't take this anymore. To be able to just weed those out, it's a complete game changer.
There
should
should
be a literal
be
game changer.
They should start with a rule right now. Umpires have to be under like 50 or whatever fucking age you can put on it. Start with that, and then just like start phasing them out. I don't know.
They have to do like an annual vision test every single year.
Yeah, whatever it is, either more accountability or you're fucking gone. You're basically toll booth, operators. Like your job is becoming obsolete. I'm sorry, it just is what it is, and it's probably just gonna be better. Like that for ball. Or you know what we should do right now? You should maybe do only like you can only challenge on like a third strike. So we're not, a 1-0 count. We're pausing the game. If it's like I think I punched you out, or the batter's like, no, I think that was I got rung up when I shouldn't have. But yeah, that was awesome. They do those things on purpose. Put it in single A, put it in the All-Star game, kind of test it out. But then everyone goes, well, that was cool. That was awesome.
How many times do we see like 3-0 count? The guy gets a strike call in the other batter's box, like off charity. It's
right. Yeah. The ultimate. That's one of the most like gimme things in all of sports. The fact that you just get the call strike. And it's like a strike call. We don't need to do that anymore. Let's just be real about it.
So we got to get the robot umps in ASAP. Like I said, strikeout or like ball 4. I could see like maybe if it's like the one that ends the at bat, you can then challenge. I like that if we're gonna slowly do it. I'm pretty sure like a couple Saudi princes are gonna like try to like take the swing off home run ball instead of baseball, and it's just home run derby.
That could be its own little sport for sure. Like it felt like cricket where they just like they pitch and hit. There's like minimal fielding. I was like, this is pretty cool.
And if we had swing off like in MLB, let's say it happened like after the 12th inning, Steve would have like you would hire like the perfect batting practice people just for those like situations.
I was thinking get Dave Joss in here like permanently for swing offs, or someone just like him. Just throw fucking darts right down the middle.
And then our big meatball, Big Pete, came up with the other rule that's gaining traction here online, allowing fights in baseball. Like
this has been his take for a while. He said this. I think he said this to us when we interviewed him. Like he
did. I think he
been on this train. He really, really. I think Pete just wants to beat motherfuckers up. Like, let's go. Which the thing we haven't talked about with this rule is somebody like Pete who clearly wants to beat motherfuckers up. Let's say the starter's carving you guys up. Pete's like, I'm just gonna go like break a rib. I'm gonna fucking whack him in the throat. He's got to come out of the game. Like this is good for business. When you're a big fat polar bear, you're not gonna lose any of those fights. Yeah, of course.
Carlos Quinn did that to Zach Greinke, knocked him out 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. So like, let's. I'm all for it as long as I've got the fat meatheads on my team who will fucking beat people up.
Pete did have that run where he kept getting hit by pitches too, and he was probably he's like, I could just murder all of these people.
All of them.
And they're throwing a fucking weapon at my head at 100 miles per hour. It's such bullshit. So.
MLB teams hire their own James Johnson to just sit there to fight people just in case.
It's a goon.
Before we move on from the swing off, forget about AJ complaining about the home run derby. I mean, the swing off names from the AL were. I'm so happy it was Aaron Boone. It was like the whole entire league got to witness Aaron Boone's fucking coaching. The fact that it could have been Ohtani and Judge and Pete and Cal Dumper and everybody, and instead, I mean, I still I'm not a savant like expert like Pete, but I don't even know who Aranda is. I'm not
behind that is like guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, like they're at the ballpark. You probably left them at the third or fifth.
I do understand that, and that's where I was wondering if it was out of necessity, and also like, hey, let's give this dude it's his first All-Star game, or he doesn't really get a lot of shine. Let's give him the spotlight. Mm-hmm. But fuck that. I don't know.
You couldn't put Bobby Witten there because he was actually, in the game.
Yeah. There were other people who were available, I think, that would have just been, a better name. And it could have been like the best of the best. They also should maybe come up with a way to like, I don't know how you would do it, but it sucks that the third round like didn't need to happen. It almost should be like everybody hits and
the third round's like double the point.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Like a money ball. Have a sponsors.
A money ball. A money ball would be great where it's like it's worth like 3, so that you're almost never out of it until.
And you put your best hitter in that like money ball rack.
Yes, that would be. there would be something cool about the final round is one pitch. Not even one swing. And it's like, or I guess you have to be able to, because some of those pitches were like low and inside and backing guys off the plate. So, you know what it should be? Get a pitching machine. It's right down the middle every time. And you get the final round is one pitch. And if you hit it out, it's worth like 5 home runs.
And I said it on Pick Central. There's a chance Joe Ohtani still has no idea Tuesday night went to a swing off. Like he has no idea what a swing off even is.
Well, the only reason he might is if he could bet on it. That would probably have gotten him interested. But otherwise, he probably has no idea it happened. Did you see he made $100 million in endorsements this year?
Yeah.
100.
Really?
Just this year. They were comparing him to Judge. Judge made like 7. Ohtani made like
What?
100. I don't know if it's a low. It's way lower than 100. It's not like, oh, he made 75 and he made 100. It's like maybe in the tens. And Ohtani's made 9 figures. It's like, yeah, no fucking wonder he doesn't have a real baseball contract.
Jesus. It's funny you mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. too, because when I was explaining how the All-Star game works, and AJ goes, is Bobby Witt Jr. on the American League? That's where the Royals are, right? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, no, we're in trouble. Because he just knew from that one series against the Royals, Bobby Witt is fucking awesome. So
I had this thought in my head because it was weird rooting for Schwarber. I don't really care about the All-Star game, but I wanted Pete to win the MVP, so I was kind of rooting. And I'm sure this is the same thing for AL fans. I couldn't even imagine rooting for the AL in an All-Star game. Ugh. The American League is just gross. It's gross. Like I couldn't ever be like, let's go American League. Like, you know what I mean? Even let's say somebody from the Mets, a couple guys got traded to the AL and I was still fans of them. Like I still could never root for the AL.
No, if World Series home field's on the line, it's different, but like now the games doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I went back on that too. Like with the swing off, giving it some juice, if there was also something on the line, I always thought that was a little stupid, but now I could get down with. I think we're in a new world where like awesome kind of overrides other shit now. It's like it was stupid that like an exhibition game meant that much, and we had the tie and Joe Torre trying to figure out what to do and all that shit. But now I think we just live in a world of like entertainment first, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, this is crazy, but also it's fucking awesome, and people will just be like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
yeah, I feel like we've lost our way with some like the old traditional things that you like held on to. Everyone's just like, no.
If I can give up,
it's going to go viral.
If I can give up the DH, I'll give it. Like that to me was like if I used to have such dug my feet in on that one. If I can give that up, I'll give up anything.
I'm trying to think like the only scenario is like the Braves would and like the fit like my hated teams in the NL would be running away. Mets would be out of any potential World Series. It's 4 World Series home field, and like the Yankees aren't in first place in the American. It would have to be such a perfect storm for me to be like, let's go American League. And even then, I would feel dirty the entire. I don't even like the fucking American League logo. The old eagle.
All of it is just gross. I just can't. It's just. All the teams, their uniform. I just hate the American League. I really do. Except for the Red Sox. I like the Red Sox.
Yes, Red Sox, and the Red Sox are rolling. Hopefully they keep rolling after the break. And no matter who you were rooting for after the break, you can bet for your baseball teams on DraftKings, because nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game, all with DraftKings Sports. As the season heats up, so do the bats, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with live betting, home run props, odd boosts, and more. Whether you're chasing dingers or jumping in mid-game, there's always action to be had. Never bet on baseball before? It's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Best tagline in the game. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Again, code BELIEVE. And, you can kind of give a little extra oomph to your baseball watching experience as we get rolling here after the first half. Speaking of which, boys, wanted to do our little annual first half awards here. Nothing too crazy, but first half, we'll just kind of like make this conversation. I think we have to like get ballots and shit out here. First half MVP for the New York Metropolitans. Kind of an interesting question here, because I feel like guys were heating up at different times.
Yep.
And
you could go a couple different ways too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Edwin Diaz because I think his ERA is like .29 since April.
When I said you could go a couple different ways, that was
Yeah.
my thought. Is that everyone's probably thinking of a bat or a starter maybe, but I Diaz has been like the only piece of that bullpen you can really rely upon, and having so many skeletons in our closet and boogeyman vibes from the bullpen in the years gone by. Like, he's not 2022, but like he's good,
getting close to that. Like,
yeah, he at least has had a run like right now that is comparable to 2022. So yeah, that's a good pick. This is very interesting. Like I've said many times, as Lindor goes, so goes the Mets. So it's like he hasn't been like lights out the whole time, but whenever he is good and hits a home run, we win. So that find the definition of value. Like, you could go with him. Soto is just finally doing his thing, but I think I would go with Pete Alonso. I think Pete has been so consistent, carried us early on, got us out to the hot start. Really has never slumped, even when like the rest of the team did. Like in June, he was still hitting. I'm gonna give it to Pete.
I like that. Pete was my bat if I was going to go bat. I think Diaz, not only the MVP of the team, but the fans, because like when you start to have to worry about blown saves, that is and like you said, all the wounds from the past come out.
You could have great starting, great hitting, and just like we know there's an inning coming later that's going to undo all this.
Yep. I was going to be like, who was my outside the box pick? I was going to like think of someone in like the fucking like Mr. Met or something crazy. I'm going to go Hefner just because I can't give it to a pitcher, but it's like so many of our games are on like our starting pitching game up as little as possible in the innings they gave us. And then the bullpen, carrying away until obviously everything kind of blew up. So I'll go Hefner just outside the box. LVP. This one used to be very easy for us back in the day. We'd always have one motherfucker that we would despise with all our heart. I guess in terms of preseason expectations to in-season
we're doing that. It's Mark Vientos.
Performance. I think it's Vientos, right?
Just because
I also have a hard time doing that to him because it's like sophomore slump type thing. Like it's not the like I can't blame him. You know what I mean? It happens to a lot of people. But as far as expectations not being met, he's for sure number one.
Yeah, like he could have a hot second half, but to be honest with the first half, it's like this is a guy that had 27 home runs last year, beast in the playoffs, and he's been a complete dud the entire first half.
Like I guess I shouldn't have said like unimaginable because like I said, it does happen to people, but I really just did not see this coming. I thought
he basically lost the third base job to both Beatty and Mauricio.
Yeah. By the way, congrats to Beatty. He got engaged last night.
Yeah, I saw that good stuff.
And
sickos, I know we're all like, how's this going to affect him in the second? Is this going to make him better? Like posting game, he's planning the wedding. Is this going to
every time I see a baby announcement or a wedding announcement, like this could either be those things go one of two ways. They either like make you a man and they ground you and you are like, my world is complete, and that's if like your woman and your family are like great, or it's like low key, he probably hates her and this is gonna be a terrible idea.
So I mean, but this is, I also think it's not even a Vientos thing. It's more just like this season. It's like everyone who's underperformed. It's mostly because of injury. Like you could be like Montas signing that contract, giving us nothing, right? And Manaea has been hurt.
Oh, I got one. Pete, aka Paul Blackburn.
Yeah, there we go.
He's the only guy probably the only guy. And like the bullpen is interesting. There are times I would have said Reed Garrett is the LVP. There's also a couple times where I said Reed Garrett's super valuable. So there's a lot of ups and downs in there. But Blackburn's the one guy. Oh, and there's two guys I've hit with to get the fuck off my team. So they're tied for my LVP. It was Jared Young, who got the fuck off the team, and Blackburn. Every time I see Blackburn starts, I'm like, even if he pitches well going into it, I'm like, I cannot believe we have like a $500 million team and this guy is back out there again. That's my LVP.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Jared Young was like too young and like shitty to even be mad at, but at the same point, like it's kind of, again, we've also we're not expecting a lot out of Beatty. We know Mauricio's gonna have his growing pains. You kind of like give those guys buffers, but watching Jared Young just go out every game.
It's not really the same way. It's more like an indictment of like what is like Stearns doing, and he got rid of it quickly, so whatever. But like, yeah, I feel like I thought Jared Young was gonna be good. I don't blame him, but it was just such a glaring, like with some of the other talent around him. It's like, this is our designated hitter. Oh, what? That never made any sense to me. So those two guys for sure at the bottom of the barrel for me.
I actually meant to think about the DH and just the thought of Schwarber being the DH on this team for like the next 4 years would just, even if he just sucked, would just at least him being in there would give me such peace for at least like months, if not years. I think we should. So next week, we'll probably do like a little trade deadline preview at some point. And then the week after is the trade deadline on Thursday. We should probably just do this at night after the deadline, right? Because we could talk for hours. And if something comes out of the blue, it would just be worthless. So that's a programming note, probably Thursday, July 31st. I believe 6 o'clock is the deadline. So we'll probably go live at some point after there. I think that's the best way to go. And then I was trying to think of a couple other random awards. Best game of the season. Is it that Orioles game?
I would say best win of the season is that I'm trying to think if there was another.
The 4th of July Yankees game, I guess you could say.
So that was on there too.
Yankees game, 7 home run, Phillies game, Orioles comeback. Or no, wait, am I mixing up the Yankees and is the Yankees the 7 home run game?
No, Phillies 7 home run.
Phillies, yes. Phillies 7 home run game, definitely Phillies, on that list.
Those because that was like also we needed that win at that time. It was in the middle of all the other bullshit, but that like 7 dingers, fucking bananas. So those, and then that comeback, I think, and then I think like worst loss of the year was the Orioles game right after that. That was brutal. That was brutal.
Yeah, remember we said like the rain out might be good because it gives us another day to enjoy that, and then it really came to fruition right in front of our faces. Phil, was there any? I mean, like the first Atlanta game where it's like, oh boy, is this going to happen again? And it's like, oh boy, it's happening again in Atlanta. Oh no, it's
the first Atlanta game. Honestly, like you could say like any of the Pirates games where they just got killed. Yes. That whole Pirates weekend.
Yep, that was tough.
That was a tough week.
How about most underrated player? I think there's a super duper correct answer to this.
Brett Beatty. It's just my guy. Most underrated player.
I would say he might be the most underrated in baseball.
David Peterson?
Yes, sir. Bango, bango.
It's hard to say he's underrated if he's an all-star. I mean,
I still think, bro, people talk about him like they don't talk about him. His ERA is like 2. He's fucking good. He is good. He pitches deep. He's had a couple of, complete games or 8 innings. Like the only thing he kind of runs into is, and Mendoza's kind of trying to figure out, like, let him start the inning. As soon as he gives up a hit, bring him in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think David Peterson gets I mean, bro, if you have an ERA, if you're a pitcher who has an ERA like of 2, like you're an ace. People call you like an ace. You're the number 1. And David Peterson's like talked about like a 3 or a back end guy. I think he is like I'd give him an extension right fucking now. And they're not even like talking about it or nobody. I guarantee if you talk to AL fans, they wouldn't even know who he is.
Yeah, there was probably a lot of people surprised when they're like, this guy's on the Mets and I haven't heard of him, like big New York market and all this shit. It is weird.
And I like, this is why last year I was so like down on the pitching and it ended up being fine. And then this year people were doubting it. And I'm like, Senga, Minaya, Peterson in like any order, I think is a great 3 that can go like toe to toe with almost anybody when they're healthy.
I mean, Senga, that's another guy though. Like, just the guy was like leading the league in ERA.
He's a 3 ERA.
Yeah. I know everyone got bent out of shape about the Brewers kid getting the nod. I also read that they like tried to.
That's the thing. Like he was at the 13th option down the list.
So did Senga get offered and he said no or something?
He had to have been offered. Yeah. Like he only came off the injured list that Friday.
Yeah, I think someone like that who. It's like, I can't even speak to these guys. What am I going to go there for? Like, this is not even, So I hope that he was one of the guys, like the first guy on the list and got turned down. But I also understand baseball being like, again, this means nothing. We're just trying to grow the game. Put the fireballer kid in there and like, let's go.
I think every year you should put guys and be like, this guy is like, don't even call him an all-star. Be like the cool guy of the season. Yeah, Skeens, when he first came up, this guy, Kershaw, like the old veterans too. Like you throw them in there, even if they're not. He's having actually an all right season, but like even if they're not having a great season, like that Kershaw moment was fucking awesome, right? Awesome. When they had him all mic'd up. So, and I trust me, and then like. AJ, when he actually starts caring about the game, are going to want to see the guy that he's heard about throws 1 billion miles per hour over just some random dude on the Rays, like the third guy on the Rays. Right?
Yeah, the guy has a cool MLB The Show card that he uses.
Yeah,
exactly.
Also, I have a take. I didn't end up watching it, but I almost did, and that's saying a lot. I think the futures game might start to get a little more traction than it ever did in the past. I think we're at an era where like everybody is so much more knowledgeable about prospects and like want to see them, and social media is becoming a thing where like you'll actually keep up with these guys. I'd like to see that like get some more love and some more shine, where it's like you could watch all of the next guys coming up. I don't know what they need to like make some stakes for that, or
you need to air it when no other games are on. They have it on Saturday night when all the games are on.
Do that, and that's a game where they should get absolutely silly with rules. Like just do rock and jock and let these kids fucking
turn into Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, honestly, right. Just put on a show, yeah.
And those dudes could probably do some crazy shit. Like some of the stuff that those young kids are like, what the hell is going on?
Give them metal bats in the futures game.
Yeah, right. Like do some fun shit like that and just watch these guys. You know, there's always a couple guys who can hit the ball 120 miles an hour. Let them hit it 220 miles an hour.
I'm looking in the chat here too. Nate says Nimmo for underrated. Christian says Jeff McNeil. Like we've had like guys like Nimmo when he like turned it on, it was like, oh shit, this lineup clicked. You know, everything came together. And McNeil is just this giant X factor that can just like be in the bottom of the lineup and can play all over the place. He is such a fucking wild card. He's awesome for us. So it almost goes to say like it feels like an underrated team. And like you said, like Sanger doesn't feel like an ace in people's minds. He gets bumped to 2. Peterson doesn't feel like a 2 in people's minds. He gets bumped to 3. But their numbers saying they are a 1 and a 2. You know, it's crazy.
I got one more underrated. Maybe not the right word. Underappreciated, whatever you want to call it. Starling Marte. I thought that guy was hooked. I was like, he's just done, and I'm okay with it because, you know, he was a good signing, did a really great job in 22, all that. And he's just, for like on the field reasons, off the field reasons, he's
solid,
valuable piece to this team for sure.
Yeah, and when I saw the numbers, I was still just like, holy shit, I can't believe he was putting up those kind of numbers because I just didn't think he was doing that this season. So, have we heard anything about him and Winker? Because like they got hurt at the good time, where at least you have that week break.
I think they're gonna come back like right after break. I'd have to imagine, especially Marte, just because. But he tweaked his knee taking a pitch. Like,
he is 1,000, so that kind of stuff is going to happen. Winker, I mean, how does that happen? Where you take all that time off and then you're boom, injured right away again.
Part of the reason they did put him on the IL is because you could backdate during the break and you can come back that first weekend. Like Budo's coming back, I'd imagine Friday, because he had an illness that we don't know of.
That's right. Oh, that was very weird. Where you're just IL illness, you're like, what the fuck?
Budo's got AIDS.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the '90s, people would have started that. Real quickly.
For sure.
And then
it's
the
like
last
mono.
Oh, mono's a motherfucker. I had that shit. Oh my god. Last, it's not even an award. Updated win prediction. So, what do you think? Right now, we are 55-42, and at a 92 win pace.
I'll say 94.
94. Okay.
I will. That's a good. Like, I think they will play better. I think they will exceed that pace a little bit. I'll go 95. Fuck you, Phil.
All right, and I'm staying with the 96ers. It's perfect. We're going $1, $2 Price is Right style.
I also don't want to look at the schedule and be like, oh, we have this stretch of easy, this stretch of time. Like, we got split by the fucking Pirates. We can't.
But how? I mean. Putting that aside, because we know that you can never just count wins with the Mets, is the schedule on paper easier?
There is a West Coast trip. It starts the 25th.
I'll be out. Have fun, boys.
This will determine a lot. 3 games at San Francisco, 3 games at San Diego, then back home for 3 more versus the Giants.
When is that?
That's the 25th through August 3rd.
Yeah, we haven't played the Giants or the Padres at all yet, right?
No, we haven't played the Padres or the Giants. And those are the teams that are like wrap our ass in the wild
They really need to do the realignment, and just like you don't need to play on the West Coast. Just don't do it. Honestly, no, just don't do it. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for the players. Like, just if you're on the East, you play the East, and like you don't go west of
would
Chicago.
you ban these West Coast trips if it meant we had to play the Braves 25 times?
Yeah, right. True. I was gonna say you mix in some athletics. You mix in some fucking duds. You get some. Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks. Or I don't know. East Coast time just has to rule the world. So if you're on the West Coast, you have to play games at like 9 a.m. I don't care.
Speaking of retire, so remember I retired from West Coast games, that Dom Smith game. You retired from extra innings, right, Kev? No, now at this point, it's just they're like kind of awesome.
Yeah, they're much more manageable. But I would never have done a 12, 13, 14 inning game ever again.
I'm retiring from bullpen games. I'm just not.
Oh, they are disgusting. I don't. That might be my most old man yelling at the cloud take when it comes to sports. What has happened to starting pitching and the idea of bullpen games and shit? They're just awful. Just go swing off. I don't need to see. Would you rather watch a shitty reliever 9 times in a row or just watch dingers, man? Because you're gonna probably get them anyway. I can't. It's just like this sucks, dude.
I get when it's like once in a while, just because like you
Yeah,
have
it's
to.
a rotation every time.
We literally did it 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
We've done like 12 times this season.
I mean, they were very injured, but it just feels like everybody, like once a week, is like, we'll just go to the
Call
bullpen.
someone up from AAA, have them start. Like,
Right. Honestly, how could they? I don't like the idea of like, if you start the game, you have to go 5 innings because like some of these guys suck, and that just means you're going to get tattooed. But how could they do something like that? How could they? Could it be like there has to be? You can only use 2 guys through 6 or something like that. Almost like the whatever this crazy plan with Holmes and Manaea is going to be. Like something that limits like 1 inning, 2/3 of an inning, 1/3 of an inning, 1 inning, 1 inning, 1 inning. And it's just a nightmare to watch. They need to do something like that. I can't figure it out because it's hard to manage, but they need a rule in place.
you guys end the inning whenever you want to. So
Yeah.
bases loaded, 1 out. Oh, he's got like 35 pitches. We're just gonna end the inning now.
They're killing the purists day by day with every single rule change. But they usually end up being much better to watch it, to be fair. And that's coming from someone like you said with the DH. Like I miss strategy, I miss double switches, and like, do you keep the guy in for the extra batter? Like that shit was fucking great, man. It was chess. So whatever. So we're going to be getting to the next segment, and that is we brought to one of our favorite players of all times, if not favorite, on a big day coming up. So if you want to get to the games to watch it, you got to go to Game Time. There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute. Luckily for me, I always use Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. I was looking for Mets versus Reds again. We're talking David Wright Day. We're section 501 row 10, $79 includes fees to get into the ballpark. Top 5% value according to their top deals at the top there. So you can get yourself into the David Wright game, $79, and it's going to be it's probably going to be the biggest, I'd say, game of the season in terms of an event. So you can put those savings back in your pocket and spend them at the ballpark on a hot dog, a new hat, or some good old-fashioned Crack-a-Jack. What are you waiting for? I'm going to go buy these Mets-Reds tickets now with Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BELIEVE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BELIEVE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. So $79 minus 20, boom, $59 you're getting in the ballpark and watching number 5 live in immortality. So we have a couple like housekeeping things I guess we can get into here to end the pod. First is, it's basically David Wright weekend now. It starts tonight on SNY with the show, and then it's going through the weekend. Did you guys see the whole thing about the video that leaked with the captain stuff? I'm sure. I know Phil has. Phil saw it before I did, and I thought I saw it pretty quick. So basically, the Mets launched a video, I think on MLB.com, and it's like captains of the Mets, and it was just like a David Wright tribute video, but they make a what?
Was Lindor in there?
Yeah. So it's like a bunch of David Wright highlights, and then they're like, if you're a captain of the Mets, and it shows like Keith, and it shows was Piazza, I guess Piazza was one, and they show Wright, and then at the end there's like a whole bunch of Lindor stuff, and it's like,
so here's what part of me was like, it's no doubt in my mind they're gonna like name him captain, pass the torch. Then part of me was like, they're not gonna.
Are they gonna do it on David Wright Day? It's like that's.
Right. That
weird.
But then I went back the other way because I could see David Wright saying to them, let's give it to Lindor. Yeah. He's he's not the guy who wants the spotlight. So I could see him being like, cool, I'll do that. But like, hey, why don't we incorporate a player from this team and like, let me pass the torch to him. So I think it will happen. It's inevitable. It'll happen at some point in my mind.
Yep.
Whether or not it happens this weekend pretty much is dependent on David Wright, I think. But I can absolutely see a world where he said, like, let's, I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be about the team. I want it to be about, moving forward, whatever it is. So I could see it happening, and it would be dope. I think it would be very cool. Part of me wants David Wright to get his moment, but I could see it being like he calls him out of the dugout and he's like hitting him on the chest, like this guy's next or something, and then they officially do it, the next day or some shit.
Yeah, the video was then removed, so then everyone's like, they fucked that up.
It really just comes down to like, do you think they would encroach on someone else's day by, because then is that referred to as like David Wright Day, or do people remember that as the day that Lindor got their C? Like but if there's one guy who wouldn't give a fuck about that and would almost ask for that, it would be David Wright.
Mm-hmm.
If a story came out saying David Wright said, I'll only do it if you give it to Lindor afterwards, right. And every single thing I've ever heard about the guy, from fans to the people in the clubhouse to the players, I mean, this guy is like Jesus Christ in a baseball uniform. So It's like that would be very David Wrighty. So, and it's almost like the fucking tragedy of David Wright, that it's like he didn't get what he deserved. He should be a fucking Hall of Famer if he had just stayed healthy. And if he had played during the fucking Cohen era, they would have taken care of him the right way. He probably would have never got hurt. He would have been on much.
He may have still been playing.
Might still be playing, yeah.
Right.
So
you see
interesting
the image that SNY posted on their Instagram. David Wright had a quote that said, I guess during the draft, the Braves were ahead of us. And he was like, I was convinced that I was going to Atlanta. And SNY put up a picture of him photoshopped into a Braves jersey.
I mean, you can't do that.
I mean, the every single comment was like, get this cursed image off the internet right now. SNY posted it with just a caption that said, sorry, guys. It was sickening to see that. It was a gruesome sight with that stupid tomahawk and the red and gray. I was like, gross, man.
That's not right. There's like the SNY, and we have a lot of love for SNY with the cameras, and they have some stuff that some of the videos are good, but there's just something off. Like when they're doing the Yankees stuff, and it's like you don't need to cover the Yankees anywhere near as close to the Mets, and then something like that. It's like someone at the top needs to be like, do not even think of putting David Wright in a Braves uniform. That's day one stuff. There was something they posted something too that he had said like, Philadelphia was the only place he like wouldn't do like his exchanging pleasantries or something like that.
Yes, yeah,
I'm always rooting against Philadelphia. And I was like, this guy was made for us. He was a Mets fan growing up in Virginia. Oh, perfect, absolutely.
You share my screen real quick, or do I have to do that?
Oh, I got it. Oh my God, I don't know. I didn't even see what you were sharing.
Why?
Oh, disgusting, dude. If I had to see it, you guys have to see it. Absolutely gruesome. Yeah, I said, delete this cursed image from existence. I mean, that is horrific. That would have, my life would be, forever different. Forever, if that was the case. Ugh.
Shout out the Colorado schools for making that pick possible to drop into our lap, right?
Mike Hampton, yeah.
Hope he drops a line on that too.
Yeah, that would be great. Speaking of like the draft and stuff, the Mets drafted the cocaine sniffing celebration guy from Michigan.
I didn't know that guy was like first round pick material. I mean,
that's not really a first round pick for us. Pick 38.
Well, yeah, but I thought that guy was just like a nobody. I didn't even know he was going to make it to the show, let alone like top of the draft.
I was the same way.
Fits it right in with our lore,
Starting to feel like 86 again.
The only red flag is he did have a notes app apology after the cocaine, which I was sure he was told to do. But he didn't mean it.
That swagger, though. I saw him like he had the interview. He's like, I'm a winner, this and that. He's all fired up. He's a Michigan man. They're a different breed, as we know. So I'm very excited to see how that guy pans out in Queens. And then just like kind of another only with the Mets, Mr. Met dancing with the Lumineers, falling into a fucking abyss, coming up, and like the old Mr. Met would have torn his ACL and been dead. This one at least bounced back up. I'll give him that much.
A little bit of context on that. It was the drummer put on the Mr. Met hat, and
I didn't know that.
So not an official Mr. Met performance. However, an official Mr. Met performance would have ended the same way. He would have. It wasn't even it was the crawling around. He tried to catch the shirt or whatever, or the tambourine, and he was crawling on his hands and knees to get that, and then he fell, popped right back up. But that was, I thought that was going to be more of a viral moment than it was, because it feels like every time Mr. Met flips somebody off or whatever happens, he goes
why it wasn't a viral moment? Because we won that night, and we won the night after.
Yeah,
if we had gotten swept in Kansas City going into the break, it would be like, did Mr. Met just end the Met season?
Totally.
It's crazy. Like I wasn't following it closely, obviously, but I had never heard that was the drummer because you just see Mr. Met at Citi Field. You're like, all right,
I didn't want to ruin
the
allure of it. Yeah, but I guess I'm assuming that guy's a Mets fan or wherever. Maybe they were in town and he just popped the head on and fucked around. But
I appreciate that. So, I mean, I guess times are changing. Like you said, Phil, I was convinced 5-game losing streak, but we won that night, which was a great win. The next night, and then it was like, shit, is it going to be the opposite? Where this is our new grimace, where Mr. Met going into the pit, we win 15 in a row.
I mean, it's going to be an awful weekend when Gelb's on the call.
One of my
that's true. Yeah, Gelbsy was. Well, I love Gelbs.
I think Gelbs is not that bad. When I listen to other broadcasts, they all stink. So I think he's got enough of he's learned enough being around the good guy.
The drop off from Gary to Gelbs though is just
he's fighting a losing battle.
Yeah,
100%.
It is very tough, especially when it's you're also basically you replaced Burkhart a lot. He's got a lot of shoes to fill in that role. I love Gelbs though. What was I gonna say? Shit. Whatever.
Mr. Met fall in the abyss.
I was gonna say Mr. Met. The Mr. Met middle finger is one of my favorite Mets moments ever. I know that was during a dark time. We sold so many of those fucking T-shirts, man. I think I hit the Barstool merch bonus overnight. It was a single day. Everyone needed that shirt. That fucking kid just be like, "Fuck you." It's so good.
I'll never get over the fact that the Mannings cease and desisted the Eli Manning middle finger shirt because I was like, this is gonna, and they cease and desist almost immediately because they're much more media savvy than the Mets. But I was very happy that the Mr. Met thing took place when Barstool moved to New York because I remember Dave being like, I never understood what it's like to be a Mets fan until I was here. And then Howie the next day is like, Mr. Met kind of got a little loose last night. And just the way it was said, it's yeah, man, this is just every day for us. And you think we're crazy. No, we are not. Frank is the craziest or the crazy of us, but we live this every single day, every single year. So,
by the way, speaking of Frank, the other day at the office was bizarro world. Dave was back in the office with his dogs. Rico Bosco's dad was in the office. A bunch of MMA fighters were walking around. And then I walked past the gambling cave, and that's the office for Jenks, Frank, and Harrison Francesa. And just sitting in the fucking cave, no cameras on, no nothing, Kane. WWF superstar turned, mayor of Cincinnati or some shit, whatever he is. Kane just sitting there, legs crossed in a suit, just chatting. No cameras, no content, no nothing. And I'm just picturing Paul Bear. I wanted Frank to go, Kane!
You missed the cut. They were doing a WWE stream, WWE2K stream in the Game Time room, but that's where I left my suit. So I had to interrupt their stream to go grab my suit. I was like, are you guys live?
What's happening in here? Yeah.
I was giving no notice of this.
Crazy.
I was going to say, although, Mr. Bosco, who I've never met, but hearing all the grudges he has, I feel like the apple that is Rico, that's the tree that he fell from, right?
I am sure it is.
And then Dave with Rico, no less, obviously after the Nadu stuff. It's I was like, this, and UFC fighters, this is an explosive situation, just needs fire. And then you told me Kane was there, the literal breathing fire man of the WWE. Oh, that's incredible, man. But New York, it doesn't get a lot of love, but I'm telling you, man, it's just a wacky fucking
it always ends up in the center of things somehow, some way,
So yeah, the David Wright stuff, I was going to say we all share. I'm not going to share favorite David Wright moments. It just sucks. I feel he's it's a tragic figure. He's still
let's
gold standard for me.
Let's do that really quick. Give me your 3 David Wright moments. Because unfortunately, I think we'd all have some of the same moments. There's just not many to pick from.
Like the World Series home run.
World Series home run to me. The Mariano walk-off early in his career in the Subway Series. He hit the home run in it was either 06 or 15 when we clinched the division. I always mix it up. In September against the Reds, it was
15.
15. He basically hit the home run to put it out of reach to clinch the division. That was cool. And then I love the against, I think it was against the Phillies when he slid into home and he did that big fist pump.
I think that was the Nats.
Yeah, that I don't even remember what the circumstances were. I don't know. I think it was a big comeback, but I don't know if the game really mattered that much. But the image of him doing the fist pump, all those moments, when him and Bobby Parnell going up to Syndergaard, right? They're mad at his lunch. They threw his lunch away. Like, he doesn't have that many moments, but the ones he does are all pretty memorable. But that David Wright home run, that World Series home run was so sick, dude. The cat.
When he came back wearing from the hit by pitch, and he came back wearing a giant ass helmet.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
God.
You know what my favorite David Wright moment was? When our incompetent owners built an impossible ballpark to hit home runs, and it effectively ruined his career. That was my favorite moment. Remember when he batted like 360 with like 5 home runs because he was hitting in fucking the polo grounds from the 1900s? It was like, how fucking dumb can you be, Wilpons? Jesus Christ.
It's just one of those guys will just go to my grave being like, this guy was so much better than people realize because of
his prime, bro. And the worst part about that collapse in 07 was the MVP still should have gone to him. But I understand after you collapse and the other team who took you over has an MVP candidate, so obviously he's going to win. But that season he was batting like 325 with like 30-something home runs, 100-something RBIs. He was the MVP for sure.
He finished 4th that year. I'm looking at
what?
Well, so listen, Holiday was 2, but that you always get the Colorado bump, so I'm sure they could have debated him out of there because the Mets had the Phillies who were a legit team behind him, and then Prince Fielder was 3rd, and he was putting up crazy Prince Fielder numbers, 50 fucking home runs back then.
All right, but I mean, I feel like if they just held on or didn't collapse at all, that was his year to win it, and then that kind of changes everything. Like you become an MVP. You're like a lock for the Hall of Fame and all these things that just like it could have just changed the trajectory of his career, even with the spinal stenosis and everything. Spinal stenosis. The fact that is, you could go up to millions of Mets fans and say the word spinal and they will finish it with stenosis. That's something that nobody should know about.
Do you remember in 15, the injury he originally went on the injured list with? It was like a hamstring injury just by sliding in second base. And then it's like, it's not going to be that long term. And then a month later, it's like actually a spinal stenosis.
I wonder if he's like still living in pain or if that's just
that's not going away. He definitely does.
No, but I wonder if it's something where it's like swinging and running and sliding really, like if you're a regular person, just like sit on the couch and play with your kids, like does it bother you every day? Because I would hate to feel that he's just like in pain all day, every day.
Don Mattingly was the same thing. I don't know. Maybe
they're very similar. Yeah,
very similar. And
God, he deserved that ring. Like that's what that Royals year is just like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I don't even remember this when you said, Kev, he batted 306 in 2012. He was 6th in MVP. It was like you said, he was hitting into a cavern.
He was hitting like 400 near Memorial Day that season.
Yeah, that was crazy. Let me
he batted 300 like second year, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th year of his career, and then he batted again in 2012 and 2013. I don't remember, like, batting average was different back then, but it's still stark to see the numbers that he had. And my one memory, like my biggest memory of him was the bare hand catch against the Padres.
Yeah,
I was like, he's here, you know. By pure luck, I went to his first game. Like, I just happened to be going that night. And, like, him and Reyes, we heard about forever. Like, for the youngins that don't run around. Because people were saying, like, this is like Lindor and Lonzo are kind of the new age Mets, like Wright and Reyes. Obviously different. Lindor wasn't a homegrown guy, but nonetheless, like that kind of vibe. And I'm like, holy shit, like it really is kind of that for them. And David Wright, like that was my guy from day one. And usually my guys, as we've seen on this podcast, don't usually turn out too well. David Wright turned out to be everything and then some. So hopefully it's a good weekend. Hopefully he doesn't get the captain ripped from his fucking chest during his own ceremony and put on Lindor. But I think we'll do it right.
His first full season, 05, 22 years old, 306, 27 home runs, 102 RBIs. Like right out of the fucking gates, my man was raking. He was, I mean, I know it was kind of like him and Zimmerman, but like I think he was the best third baseman in the league for a while. Like that was like his fucking corner. What was the year that he was batting like 360, Phil, like deep into the year?
That was 2012.
2012.
2012, he was in like 400 near Memorial Day. It was like
but so I mean, he finished at 306 that year. So yeah, he must have had a rough second half. But
and he finished 6th in the MVP for a 4th place team in the National League East.
Right.
Which that 2015 season we were talking about, that was when it was them in the Nationals, and that was like a big when he does the fist pump because the Nats were in second and we were going back and forth in the pennant race and we were getting hot after the Yo trade. This Nationals team, Wilson Ramos at catcher, Zimmerman at first, Danny Espinosa second, Ian Desmond short, Escobar's third, Worth left, Taylor center, Bryce Harper, Wright, Rendon was like their other guy, like their young guy coming off the bench. And then their rotation, Scherzer, Jordan Zimmerman, Gio Gonzalez, Steven Strasburg, Doug Fister, man. It was like those Nationals teams, like they were just babies. And because they probably drafted so high for so long, they were fucking monsters, man. And then they won the World Series, obviously, when Bryce left and our beloved Juan Soto showed up. So yeah, David Wright weekend this weekend. That'll be fun. Hopefully they don't fucking ruin it with the Lindor stuff. I think Lindor deserves it. Don't get me wrong, but El Capitan. And then we have the Reds.
It's crazy that David Wright went to the postseason twice.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
And like the second one was by no, like it wasn't him, powering the team in there, right?
Yeah.
It was very much like he kind of went along for the ride a little bit.
Right.
We haven't played the Reds yet this season, right, Phil?
Nope.
So tell me about the Cincinnati Reds other than Ellie De La Cruz.
It's really not much. They're not that good in one-run games. I don't even think they have their probables listed for this weekend yet. Let me see. Nick Lodolo, Nick Martinez, Andrew Abbott, who was their all-star. That's who we're facing. I mean, they're good, but they're beatable. Like they're right there in it.
It says here, I'm looking at their like leaders. I know Matt McClain has come back.
Spencer Steer had a 3-home-run game at one point.
Gavin Lux, like nothing that's going to blow your socks off there. The pitching, the first three pitchers we're going to face are decent.
Yeah, two lefties this weekend.
They got Frank Cohen as the manager. I always give a Frank Cohen team like a little bump just because of that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, and I also had a shout out the Renegades. I took the family to a Renegades game this weekend. Star Wars Day, bark at the park, so everyone brought their dogs, which was awesome. Yeah. They got to run the bases afterwards. $25 a ticket. Family day, so you get face painting and balloon artists, all this stuff. My kids both got selected for different games on the Jumbotron where like you have to like find the pelican in the bucket. AJ did a thing where you roll tennis balls into a hula hoop. And then like during the games, like a bunch of foul balls get hit. They just were like, hey, everyone foul balls. And they each got a foul ball. And they each got a autograph for $25, dude.
Holy
the best.
Shit.
And I told them afterwards, I go, guys, you are never going to get a game this good again. So I just want to shout out the Renegades. They're fucking the Dirty Yankees minor league team, but it's the best fucking deal in sports. $25. I was 2 rows behind the dugout, and they got all that, and like it just spurred.
And the kids, they don't even know the difference of like who's like to them. It's a baseball game. Like for us, it's like, oh, these are nobody, so we don't really care about the game. But for them, it's just like we're right on the field for a baseball game.
It was incredible, and like occasionally you do get like I think Dominguez was there a couple of years ago, and then they had this guy Ben Hess started, who's like their number 3 prospect. But you never know. Even like as we know, the number 1 prospects don't mean shit when it comes to the big leagues. As I saw our boy Ahmad Rosario where is he now, Phil?
Washington.
He's in Washington now.
He may not be there in 2 weeks, but he's there now.
And like meanwhile, Alvarez is the MVP of the fucking AAA. Like he's just raking down there. It's like, figure it out, dude. Just figure something out and stay up here. We need you. Fuck.
What? Maybe he's just looking for the free foul balls and the autographs too, like my kids. What do we? I guess that's the one last thing we can leave on here. What should they do? What are they going to do with Alvarez? What's the service? Isn't there some service time?
They already got the extra year service.
There? Okay, beautiful. And that I think that's fair. I think it's fair that they got the next year's service. They weren't fucking with anything. He still needs to show it because we see those home runs, and then it was like, oh, by the way, those are all his hits until like a couple games ago.
Well, I want those to be all his hits. I want him to just come up and only hit home runs.
Yeah,
pull home runs, right? Pull side home runs. I'll take it.
Yeah. Hit the ball at the fucking infield for once.
And I like Torrens is starting to show his warts. Sanger is like a 0, like we thought he was going to be until he showed a little bit of life early in the year. So
maybe this will be like a Beatty situation. Remember, he was kind of out of options, and they're finally like, it's either like you're here or you're gone, and he finally started to produce a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think like we have to worry about them getting traded. You don't trade a 22-year-old catcher that has made it to the big leagues already. Mm-hmm. But I'm interested to see if he gets called up in like the next. Like, you have to call him up by, like, the deadline, right? I can't watch Torrens and Sanger.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was this weekend. Like, if they did that.
Yeah.
I would rather, and unless it's like he's mentally the type where it does damage, I would rather him, like, keep working it out than watch these other bums because they were exactly what we needed them to be early on. It was like small sample, early season. The book wasn't out on them. A couple, productive.
The thing that sucks is like guys like Torrens and guys like Tyrone Taylor are so good defensively. You need them, but it's like you can't have 2 auto outs
Bro,
when the lineup is that.
That's another one of my most underrated. That glove out there, dude. Tyrone Taylor's glove.
Like, they're so valuable, but when the lineup isn't hitting, it's just hard to roster them in there.
It's tough. He's Juan Lagares-esque though with that glove. That shit is
it's insane.
That is almost Stearns' biggest mission here is to make the bottom of our lineup good with any kind of moves that no one can bitch about Tyrone Taylor. Because I'll tell you, even when I hate the bottom of our lineup, it drives me nuts. When Tyrone Taylor's not in the lineup, I don't feel right. And I know McNeil's been good in center. That glove is a game changer.
I will watch
Kansas City.
I'll watch him strike out and roll over to second base 1,000 times in a row, just knowing that there's going to be a ball in the gap that's like a 99% expected hit that he's going to somehow catch. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if we get a fucking center fielder, I'm not going to cry too much from. We can still use him, and obviously late game replacements, all that kind of stuff. So we'll figure it out. So
that's why, by the way, the people who still don't give Carlos Beltran his proper due, like that being that good of a bat with that good of a glove was so fucking unbelievable.
And one day they'll say the same thing about Lindor too. They'll be like, we said a shortstop who just did that, and he could play defense, even if he had a little bit of a hiccup.
Dude, his throw the other day, I think it was against the Royals. He was safe, so whatever. But it was a fucking cannon from like the outfield. He's the best, dude. Put a C on his chest right now.
Put a C on his chest. So whether you're hoping for David Wright's good health for his future, Francisco Alvarez making his way out of the minors, Tyrone Taylor getting hits and getting his average, comfortably above the Mendoza line, or just the Mets to win a game. For the second half, we have one mantra. Gotta believe.